Hi, it's Anita here from the Arty Crafty One, and today's video is all about making little fabric flowers. So I'm going to show you how to make the 5-pointed flower and the 6th curved petal flower, and these can be used to create brooches like this one here, or brooch come hair grip, or even added onto a card to make your own greetings cards, or a necklace, as in this one here, a bag charm, or even a headband. So I hope you'll enjoy it. Let's get started. On with one pin and cut it out with scissors. That's totally fine. Notice I'm going as close to the edges as possible because we want as minimal waste as possible. Now if you don't want to cut it straight out with your pattern piece pinned on, you can do this as well. So you can take your pencil, you can draw around. Notice I'm on the wrong side. That's the right side because it's brighter. I'm on the wrong side. So using a pencil, you don't have to use a pencil, you can use a fabric marker if you wish, but as this is going to be not seen anyway, this outer edge, then I'm just using a pencil. So we've done that. So you can either take it off now and then cut it out, or you can draw on your rest. But when you do the next one, just make sure that you put it right close to the edge so as you have as minimal waste of fabric as possible. So as you can see there, so like I say, if you want to cut straight with your pattern piece, you can do, if that's the way you like to go. Make sure you've got a nice sharp pair of scissors. Obviously cut away from yourself, never cut towards yourself, and watch your fingers and the blades. That's if there's any younger viewers watching. If you've drawn round it, obviously try and stay as close as you can to the edge of your fabric. So for the 5-pointed flower, you need 5 circles. So let's move on from that in a moment. Okay, so I've drawn around my template. So I've drawn around my paper circle, and I've actually created, out of this piece of fabric, I've created 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 circles. I've managed to get 8 circles out. Now, if you are making the 5-pointed flower, you need 5. This little one here is made out of 1, so that would be 6. If you're wanting your 2 little buds, that would also be 1 each, so that's 6, 7, 8. So if you want to make the bag charm in total, like it is here, then it's 8. If you're wanting to make the rounded flower, then it's 6, so you need 6 of these. If you are making just this one on its own, then you just want 1 for that, and obviously 1 each for the other. If you're making them all in different colours, like I had with this one, then you obviously need different colours. So you would have your 1, I've drawn around that pattern, I've had that one. Now if the fabric is quite dark, because if you look at this it's very dark, you might use a white pencil crayon, or you might, here's where you would want like tailor's chalk or a dressmaking pencil. Got another one there and there. So if I'm going to do it like this, each one all different, I've got my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is an excellent way to use up little scraps of your fabric box. So whichever you're doing, if you're doing a keychain, you need at least 8. They don't have to be exactly the same, like mine are all different here, but I have used 1 to match in with the bud. So let's see what's next. Okay, so a little word about fabric choices and colour choices. So on this one here, where I've used a different colour for each petal, just as in my example here where these were the fabrics I've chosen, although they're all different fabrics, they fall into one area of the colour wheel that fall into the blues. There's maybe a bit of green and there's white in them, but they do all tone together. Now you can choose total contrasting colours, but the effect is going to be very different. And the button you choose in the centre, it could be a similar colour. So I've picked out one of the colours in this fabric and used this. And obviously for all of these petals, I've used the same fabric as in this. But if you noticed, I've used two buttons in the centre which highlight the colours in the fabric. And for your felt to go on the back, it needs to again link in with that colour scheme. So on that one it's a blue colour, this one it's a little bit slightly darker blue, and on this one it's a slightly lighter blue. So on this one here I've used all of the same fabric, but in the centre I've gone for a contrasting colour, I've gone for a white. So depending on what you're doing, it's very much up to you how you choose your colours. Now for like the headband, again I've kept it to a similar sort of tones of all different blues, but I've added in the contrast with the white buttons and then a little tiny sort of pink to just lift it with a little sequin. So, you know, think about those colour choices, and on the back you can see I've used the pale and a little bit of a darker blue as I've got down here. So we're doing the 5-pointed star and we're doing it all in one colour. So from my piece of fabric I now have my 8 circles, and the only little bit I've got left over is that's the fabric I've got left over. Now don't throw that away, because here at the Arty Crafty one we are really keen on trying to have minimal waste and trying to reuse things. So for example, I could have taken an old cotton blouse or shirt and actually cut out all my circles from that, and then that would have been using using recycled materials, and that would be a real added to the environment. The fabrics I have used are all little offcuts from previous projects I've done. So I don't waste any fabric, I keep it. Now if you want to keep these bits that you've done, in another video you can see how you can use all your little tiny offcuts, even as small as little pieces like this, in a fabric collage landscape. Okay, so let's get going. So you're going to need, for the 5-pointed, you're going to need just 5 of the circles. Right, so choose your 5. You're going to need a needle and thread, and you should have the thread no longer than the length of your arm, because otherwise it'll get too knotted. See you in a moment.